everyone, I'm Nikki Moore, author by the Sea. I live in beautiful Dorset and I'm published by HarperCollins, most notably the Love London series and the Charm Bracelet, which is coming in August under the pen name of Ella Allbright. Thanks for joining me this week. I know it's difficult at the moment, there's a lot going on in the world, so I hope you're well and staying safe. I'm sorry this vlog is a couple of days late. I've had a sore throat on and off for about a week and a half, and I lost my voice entirely on Sunday, which is when I would normally record this vlog, so thanks for bearing with me. So today's vlog topic is self-isolation and reading. I will do a vlog to follow next week about the craft of writing, which I'm planning to address saggy middles of books, which should be interesting. But today I wanted to talk about self-isolation and reading. We know that some people have got lots of extra time on their hands, more than they would have before because of being home-based. I know that some people haven't got as much time. So, we have to be sensitive to that. And I'm not saying you must drop everything to read, and I'm also not saying that I want you to stress yourself out trying to read, as much as you usually would, or actually read more than you normally would. Just think about reading in terms of a form of escapism and to help you with stress management, and also think about it in terms of how it can improve your writing. I did a vlog previously about how reading widely can really help you with your writing in terms of understanding what different genres require and what you can take away from books in terms of different structures, good characterizations. How do you make sure that you hit all the key components that the genre really calls for? So reading, for me, over the last week and a half, I've actually read more than I normally would. I've been writing less than I normally would. I've found it hard to concentrate. I'm also helping my son with his GCSE schoolwork, which has been pretty exhausting, if I'm honest. So my writing in terms of the volume is not what it would usually be. But I'm not beating myself up about it. I'm just doing what I can around what has become quite a busy period, but also quite a stressful period. But we're staying positive at the moment, and I've done more reading than I usually would, and I thought I would just share with you today some of the books that I've read that I've found really entertaining and the reasons why. And also there are a few book offers at the moment. And I've really noticed an upsurge on social media, especially on Twitter, lots of hashtags and lots of tweets around publication days and books. People sharing recommendations of books that they've enjoyed, and publishers and authors are sharing offers. There are heavily discounted books, or actually publishers or authors giving away books for free. Which actually I will mention something at the end of this vlog that I would like to do next week. So, for me, reading is a gift and it's really helped me in terms of stress management. So a few books that I wanted to mention first of all. I've just finished reading Messy Wonderful Us by Catherine Isaac, who used to write rom-com as Jane Costello, and I loved her books too. This is the first Catherine Isaac book that I've read. It's got a gorgeous cover covered in lemons and blossoms, and it's about Ali, the central character, and a letter that she finds in her grandma's drawer, and it basically lets out a big family secret. She ends up going on a trip to Italy with her best friend Ed to try and unpick that secret and discover the truth about her family. It was an exceptionally well-written book. I really loved being in Italy. My work in progress at the moment has my two main characters, Will and Izzy, on a road trip through Italy from the very south of the country in the boot right up to the top. So this really resonated for me in terms of Catherine bringing the country alive. I thought the structure was worked really well. We have the points of view of Ali, Ed, and also someone else in Ali's family. I won't say who because I don't want to give any spoilers. But the story really swept me away, and I found it really easy to read, and I would say definitely in the second half I really raced through this book and I enjoyed it so much. And when I sat back and thought about why did it work the way it did, I think it's because at the heart of it there was a mystery to solve. There were compelling characters in terms of Ali and Ed. Ed's wife is also a real piece of work, which makes her very interesting. and it had a very satisfying ending, and I really loved the descriptions of Italy. And I enjoyed the book so much that I ended up buying You Me Everything, which is Catherine's first book, as a paperback to be delivered to my home, so that that could be my next bath book. So I only ever take paperbacks into baths because I'm petrified of dropping my phone in the bath when I'm reading on Kindle app. You Me Everything at the moment is actually free on Amazon as an ebook. The publishers, I think it's Simon Schuster, have just put it up. So you might want to check out Amazon to see if it's there. If it's not still free, I don't think it's much. It's probably the cost of what would have been a coffee in Costa before everything shut down. So that is my next book to read. So hopefully that recommendation has helped you. And I've described the reasons why I think it's such a good story. And it's certainly, every time I read a book that I think this is good quality writing, it's got some really interesting elements, it makes me think about how as a writer, how am I putting my book together, and is it working, and do those viewpoints work, and does it feel authentic? So that's really helped me. But yeah, check out You Me Everything to see if it's still up there. Another book that I've read, I don't read a lot of non-fiction, but this book, especially at the moment, is so topical. So it's Kindness by Jane Thurston. She runs a charity called 52 Lives, and it's basically about how people, a group of people can kind of help be kind to the recipients of 52 Lives. I think they help one person a week. It's a really pretty book, look at that. So it's a delight to read visually in terms of the content, but it's basically full of acts of kindness, so ways that you can be kind to other people. And it's actually sparked an idea for me for a fiction book, which will be potentially the next book after the one I'm writing now. And I'm really excited about it, and I think that books that are going to be about happiness and kindness are probably seeing an upsurge at the moment, and will continue to, I think, now for the next few years. So if you get a chance to check that out, do. It's published by Thorson's, which I think they are definitely, they're part of HarperCollins. So it's a lovely book, and it's especially relevant, and every time I read a bit of it, I just feel a little bit better about the world and what's going on at the moment. Some other books that I've read. So I've read On a Falling Tide by Georgia Hill. Georgia is a member of the Romantic Novelists Association, and she comes to the Dorset branch meetings. I've known her for many years. But On a Falling Tide is a great book. It's set on the border of Dorset and Devon. So for me, being a Dorset girl, really enjoyed it. There is a dual timeline and a kind of dual narrative. I really liked how the different narratives, so one is present day, a woman who's moved down to Lyme Regis after a bereavement, and she's kind of trying to find her feet and decide what to do with her life. And then a young girl, there's a historical timeline element to it, and there's a mystery wrapped up in it. I really enjoyed it in terms of the voice of the characters. I thought that the dual timelines and narratives really kept a good tension in the book and kept it pacey. It is it's not pacey in terms of, it's not like a psychological thriller where, it's kind of, you're breathless and it's like da-da-da-da. It's a gentler pace than that, but the pacing does continue on. It pushes the story on just the same. And it's a lovely book to read. I really, really enjoyed it when I was in the mood for something just a bit softer and a bit gentler and just some damn good old-fashioned storytelling. So there are some elements that you can pick up in terms of what I've just described, making your own book even better, to think about how are you keeping the tension and the pacing in the book, and are the characters the right characters, and how do you create intrigue. I've also just been lucky enough to get a few books on NetGalley. So I've just downloaded The Heatwave by Katarina Diamond. I think she is great. You might have read things, I think it was The Teacher was her first crime thriller, psychological thriller, and then I think there was The Secret and quite a few others. But Heatwave is her latest one, and it's actually a standalone, whereas I think all the other books were almost part of a series. There's a continuity arc there. It's about a girl who gets kidnapped in Devon, and then 15-20 years later another girl gets kidnapped, and that spurs the main character to return to her hometown. I'm only 5 or 6 chapters into it. However, I only downloaded it last night and I only meant to read 1 chapter. And I am 5 or 6 in, so it definitely hooked me. I really like the way that Katarina Diamond, she unpeels characters slowly and she unwraps secrets slowly. So you've got this constant state of tension thinking, well, I want to know what's going to happen. So I would definitely recommend that, although I haven't finished it yet, but that's a great book. The other thing I wanted to mention to you was that when I said earlier some authors are offering some books for free, Mel Sherratt, who is a crime writer, she, in the main, although she's written a couple of different genres, she's actually giving away 6 free ebooks at the moment. I think 3 books in one series and 3 in another. Go and have a look on Amazon. I think they're free until the 5th or the 6th of April. But look for Mel Sherratt and you might be able to pick up some free ebooks there. And keep sharing your recommendations. You know, I'm really enjoying having discussions with people on Twitter and Facebook at the moment about the books that I'm loving. I hope you've enjoyed that. The final thing I wanted to say to you was that next week, and probably for a few weeks after, I'm going to go on Twitter. Here is my handle, and I'm going to gift a book, one of my books, to a reader every week, probably on Tuesday or Wednesday. I just want to share the joy of reading with people and give something back, so it will be one of my Love London series. So do look out for that on Twitter on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I hope people are still enjoying my social distancing with my dog hashtags, because Luna seems to be very popular. I hope you've enjoyed that. Stay safe, stay well, and I will see you next week. Bye.